In June 2021, St. Paul United Methodist Church received a mustard seed grant from the United Methodist Committee on Relief, and that grant was to support a program that we have entitled Loving Our Neighbors and Telling Their Stories. As part of this grant, we are supplying minor financial needs for immigrants in our community in Frankfort, some beds for people that need them as a sign of hospitality and welcome, and also an awareness-raising aspect, which is part of this video. We thought it would be good if you heard some stories from immigrants in our community, and also from people who have been helping and in relationship with immigrants in our community. Many times when the topic of immigration comes up, a lot of people start thinking about policy and immigration reform and politics. And while that is important and does matter, I want to encourage us to think about the human side of things here and to think about how we can best embody God's call to love our neighbors as ourselves, especially the stranger in our midst, like Leviticus 19 talks about. But we thought you might really enjoy hearing some stories.
I am a Hispanic church pastor in the Bluegrass district. I believe that the Word of God empowers the Hispanic community, gives them guidance. I think many of us, when we moved from our country, we leave everything behind and we feel a little lost, not only because of the language, but we are without family, we are without what's familiar to us. So it's very easy to lose what you want to do and forget what you came and forget priorities. And we are people just like you are. We have families and we have fears and we have goals and we have dreams, and we forget that what we are called to do is to be. We get caught up in the doing. We're called to be. In the church, are called to be loving. It's called to be meek, and it's called to be humble, and it's called to love each other and to be. So the love is really the power that can move and make a difference in the world. So.
I'm amazed still when I talk to people about immigrants in this community and they say, I didn't know we had any immigrants here. You know, many of the people you are going to see are unbelievably hard workers. They protect their children. They want the best for their children. They make our community better by the fact that they are in our community.
Pues sí, me sorprendió en el trabajo que pude tener más dinero. Me rendía mucho más. Yo ganaba $300 y los enviaba para México. Eran 6,000, 7,000 pesos.
Cuando yo fui a México, sí me sorprendió mucho porque yo fui ahí por 2 meses y yo vi cuando mi papá mandaba dinero, me alcanzaba por casi todo. Era más como tuve mucho más dinero allá que acá.
Ver muchas oportunidades que los Estados Unidos ofrece para las personas, ¿no? Y que no les falta nada, tienen todo.
My name is Michelle Carroll. I'm the clinic director here at Mission Frankfurt Clinic. We're a free clinic for people without insurance. We provide primary medical care, dental care, and pharmacy. We have about 800 active patients and see most of them at least once a year. We see some people a lot more frequently than that. A lot of our patients are immigrants and some of them are refugees as well. Most of our immigrant patients have come from somewhere in Latin America and speak Spanish. When I'm going throughout my daily life here in Frankfurt and the surrounding area, I don't see a lot of people who are from different cultures. But I think what's beautiful about Mission Frankfurt Clinic is that together we all sort of form this family around health and around taking care of one another. And we have a lot of fun doing it.
Es que nosotros los mexicanos, yo creo que salimos de nuestro país. No salimos por gusto, salimos por una necesidad enorme de que no te alcanza el dinero para comer. Allá es...
Pues que ellos entendieran, ¿verdad?, que nosotros estamos aquí no porque venimos a quitarles su trabajo o hacerle un daño acá. Simplemente venimos porque en nuestro país no hay una oportunidad de trabajo. Todo lo que uno gana allá no alcanza para el sostenimiento de la familia, y nosotros venimos a este país con una búsqueda de una oportunidad diferente para poder salir adelante y que ellos entendieran de que nosotros estamos aquí para superarnos, ¿verdad?, o para aportar nuestro granito de arena a este país que tanto nos ha dado también a nosotros.
I'm Kimberly Young. I'm the Director of Assessment and Program Effectiveness for Franklin County Schools. Within that title, I'm also the English Language Learner Coordinator for Franklin County Schools. Right now, we have about 240 active English learners here in our school system. We do have a little over 22 languages district-wide that are spoken by our families. 65% of our English learners are Spanish-speaking. 9% are Telugu, and these students, it's astronomical what they've been through to get here. I mean, it's hard to understand what they've been through, so not being timid to not talk to them because you have a language barrier, but a smile goes a long way, and we talk about that a lot even with our front office staff and our teachers. Like if nothing else, smile. That it makes them feel welcome.
The Emergency Community Food Pantry of Franklin County was started 40 years ago in October, and we get administrative help from the Resource Office of Social Ministry, and that administrative help allows us to run the food pantry completely with volunteers. The food pantry has traditionally served folks that would come to churches and ask for emergency food. We've kind of extended, and we started with extending our outreach through the Frankfurt Immigration Assistance Network because we realized that there were a lot of folks that were being underserved that maybe because of language issues, barriers, or work barriers did not know about our services. The thing that was very touching also was just the outpouring of gratitude from these families. They were so relieved, and I think it was something beyond just getting the food. I think it was being seen and having people understand that they were important too, and that we cared about them as a community. And you can't, it's hard to explain, but you could see it in people's faces.
Que las cosas cambien. Están cambiando, yo sé que están cambiando. Y me gustaría en poco tiempo ver a mi país un poquito mejor.
Que el gobierno ayudaría pidiéndole a Dios todos los días que nos ayude.
Sí, tenemos un sueño para nuestro país, para que ojalá, verdad, que ya no haya mucha corrupción, mucha pobreza, que sea un país próspero, que los gobernantes de allá, que ellos hagan algo por el país para no poder emigrar a otro país.
Well, my name is Leah Aubry, and I work there as a nurse. I've been there about 11 years now, and mostly focused in the clinic area, but sometimes get out and about to health education or some other areas. A lot of times we are, I think, the first stop for newly arrived immigrants, either new to the state or new to the country altogether. Word of mouth brings them to the clinic. I've been there over 11 years at the health department. I feel like it's been steady. Maybe sometimes we see more families from certain countries and it just kind of changes here and there, but for the most part we do see a lot of families that come from Spanish-speaking Hispanic countries, also some different African countries, India. Those seem to be the ones that we most frequently see. With pregnancy, there's a lot to navigate with just the whole health system in general, but a lot of times that's something completely different for that population to experience in the United States. It's a lot different from wherever, if they'd experienced a pregnancy somewhere else. There's the HANDS program, which is a home visiting program for pregnant ladies and for new moms, new dads, and baby. So that is oftentimes a very important resource for immigrant families because it does so much of that help with navigating our healthcare system and how different laws about car seats and things that maybe they're not aware as a law here. That's a very important part of doing the right thing here.
I'm an English language teacher, so I teach our English language learners, whether it may be their second language, it may be their third language or whatever, at Western Hills, grades 9 through 12, Bondurant, which is grades 6 through 8, and Bridgeport, I work with the first graders. So oftentimes they have Spanish and another language and English. I think it gives them a step up compared to students who only speak one language.
Que desde que llegamos aquí, pues siempre Dios ha sido nuestro refugio, nuestra fortaleza, y Él siempre ha sido fiel con nosotros. Ha sido, es y seguirá siempre fiel con nosotros. Y no solo con nosotros, yo creo con todos aquellos que confían en Él, porque para Él no hay nada imposible, porque Él es el dador de la vida y de todo.
Y nos ha ayudado también bastante, así como nuestra fe es seguir adelante y así como vienen otras personas, le podemos ayudar, porque nosotros hemos pasado en esa situación difícil y por eso a veces nos gusta ayudar a los demás y con nuestra fe ayudar a las personas que van a la iglesia, ¿verdad? Y seguir adelante y luchar.
En muchas cosas, ¿no? Gracias a Él estoy bien, con salud y con vida más que nada. Sí, mis hijos están bien, gracias a Dios. Y todo eso me ha ayudado. O sea, la fe, siempre tengo fe en Él, que no me presento, ¿verdad?, aquí, pero yo tengo fe en Dios siempre y me ha ayudado mucho, muchas cosas. Gracias a Él no me ha hecho falta nada hasta ahorita.
I guess it all starts with building relationships with the people. It's one thing to offer a handout or a service, but through that service you get to know the family and the circumstances, and through some activities. There's a lot of exchange of goods and furniture and food and clothing, but then what can we do together as a congregation or a Frankfurt citizen to connect with a family through an activity, through the park, through a soccer league, through a movie night, a free babysitting night. Oh my goodness, these parents would love a little extra childcare on the weekend. So I think they definitely need material things and support, but then connections through relationships would be awesome.
We've been talking about immigrants, and immigrants are not anything new to the United States or to Kentucky. Our country was built on people who moved here seeking freedom or peace or opportunity, and we honor that and we respect that in our history. And it hasn't stopped. Immigrants are still coming to the United States for lots of different reasons. Some of them to save their lives, some of them to seek opportunities for themselves, or even more so for their families and for their children. There's a Barbara Brown Taylor quote. It says, "You shall love the stranger first of all, because you know what it is to be a stranger yourself." We've all experienced that time in our lives when we felt like we didn't fit, we didn't belong, we were the other. And second of all, you shall love the stranger because the stranger shows you God. So they have something very special to offer us, and we should be welcoming them and looking for that message or for that lesson that they have to teach us.